Hello, everyone.
Hey everyone, I'm Xubing, possible. Many rich China people are coming to Singapore leh. Why huh? Last year, some rich China guy one shot bought 20 ultra luxury condos leh. Almost 300 million total. Wow, so rich. But why these rich China people want to come to Singapore? China not good meh? China so powerful.
China is big, but powerful or not depends on what is it you're comparing. Anyway, it is interesting to understand why so many Chinese people are desperately trying to get out of China.
Yeah, these people like Jack Ma, Ma Yun, didn't they get rich in China? They should be thankful to China ma. Why want to leave China?
Generally, people are grateful to the country or environment that made them rich and successful. But in China's case, it is different.
Why different? What's so different in China?
Well, China's ruling system or government system.
I know China is still communist lah, but if you go to China, it don't look communist leh. The city so modern, tall buildings everywhere. Their bullet trains are even more advanced than Singapore. So, is it really communist or not, huh?
Well, technically, their political system is not democratic, and their economic system is somewhat market driven or somewhat market economy.
Yeah. What political system? What market economy? I don't understand lah. Also, what technically?
Political system refers to how they govern the country. In China, there is no general election like Singapore. People cannot vote for their leaders, so we say it is not democratic.
If cannot vote, huh? Then how Xi Jinping become president, huh?
China is run by a small group of elites. They make major decisions that affect the entire country, including who is the next president of China.
Oh, make decision ah. What if the decision is wrong?
Yes, if the decision is not thoroughly deliberated, like the 2-year COVID lockdown and the sudden opening up and huge death toll.
Like that ah, then quite suay lor. The people ruled by this kind of government.
In this kind of government, the people are at the mercy of the rulers.
What mercy?
If the government blocks you from using YouTube, Google, WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, then that's it.
What? The whole world is using this social media and in China cannot?
Yes. And if the government says everyone must stay at home and do COVID testing all the time, then you have to do it.
Oh, that's what China doing it in the last 2 years? Quite scary. Whole day stay at home, cannot go to work, children cannot go to school, then where got money to buy food?
Exactly. You are spot on. People are not going to work, companies cannot deliver products, supply chain broke down. Large orders got cancelled. Lots of problems. Everything is falling apart. Earlier, you were asking why rich Chinese people are rushing to get out of China. This is part of the reason.
What is part of the reason?
When people don't work, they do not contribute to economic output. If companies do not produce, they do not have revenue. Then the government does not have taxable income. Now the central government is running out of money.
Ayoyo. Basically, no money lah.
Yes, the Chinese government is running out of money. Last quarter ending December 2022, you can see for yourself that China's economy experienced zero growth.
Huh? No growth, no money. China so big, so many people. Then how?
Wait, let me show you some figures. In the last 2 years of non-stop COVID mass testing, local governments bear the entire cost, all basically trying to stick to Xi Jinping's zero COVID policy. All of these made up 85% of general government expenditures.
Wow, so high. Most money just used for COVID testing? Xiao ah.
According to China's Ministry of Finance, from January to October 2022, local governments spent 11.8 trillion yuan. That's about 1.65 trillion in US dollars. This is more than what they raised in revenue and borrowing heavily to do so.
So, they are in debt? Their balance sheet all red big time?
Yes, but some of this debt is never officially acknowledged on government balance sheets.
Oh, so they always cover up the problems ah. Seems like their style. But hide from who?
China always covers up things one month, right? When they think it will give negative publicity, they will hide it.
Yeah. The numbers they publish, cannot trust one.
Okay, so when China has no money, they will go after the rich people. These high net worth, affluent people are worried about the Communist Party coming after their wealth. You know, one of Xi Jinping's policy highlights is common prosperity. Actually, people under this to mean sharing your wealth with the Communist Party.
Wow, so scary. Government take your money. No wonder rich people are running out of China.
Bloomberg estimated that in 2022, about 10,000 high net worth Chinese people left China, taking with them $48 billion US.
I see. If it's me, I also will run and take money out quickly.
Yes, otherwise the Communist Party will take your wealth away. Actually, rich people are not the only ones running out of China. Since Xi Jinping became president in 2012, about 613,000 Chinese people have applied for asylum in another country.
Asylum, what is it?
People who need asylum are people who are persecuted by their own government due to race, religion, nationality, or political opinion.
Wow, so many people left China for these reasons.
About 70% of them sought asylum in America in 2020. Many people arrive on tourist or business visas and then make an asylum application.
So easy, man. After asylum, then become what?
If these Chinese people successfully applied for asylum in the new country, they will eventually become citizens. In the last 20 over years, there have been Uyghurs from Xinjiang province, Tibetan monks, Christians, Falun Gong people, all escaping from China to start a new life elsewhere. Otherwise, they will face persecution back in China.
China's so big, so powerful. Why their people still need to escape? Now, even the rich people are escaping out of China.
When you have a one-party system making up the government, one man deciding everything, no general election, then it will end up like that.
Luckily, we have general election every 4 years. Can change government people if no good.
Do you know about the first 30 years of China history after the Chinese Communist Party took over?
Took over? When? You mean after the last Chinese dynasty collapsed or the Japanese lost World War II?
Well, the Communist Party basically took power in 1949 after Kuomintang escaped to Taiwan. From 1949 to 1976, the Communist Party initiated more than 15 political campaigns. Although these campaigns are meant to help China advance forward and catch up with the rest of the world, the reality is that the whole country turned upside down.
What turned upside down? You mean very messy, is it?
More than messy. In each political campaign, innocent civilians died en masse. For instance, during the Great Leap Forward, which was to leap China's industrialization forward to catch up with the rest, the end result was the worst famine in China's history. 36 to 45 million Chinese people died from hunger.
Wow, so many people died, This is even worse than COVID now. Even COVID didn't have so many people dying.
Yes, a lot of Chinese civilians died from doing nothing useful. Everyone is forced to abandon their farms to smelt and refine iron in their backyard furnace. You can imagine that the metal produced from these homegrown furnaces are useless. In the end, there's nothing to harvest from the deserted farms, and people just die from hunger.
Wow, so sad. The China government cannot see that this is stupid, man.
When you have a one-party system and one man deciding everything, even if the man makes a wrong decision, nobody dare to tell him the truth. If you tell him, you may be the next person to die.
Wow, this sounds like those past Chinese emperors. Government officials only tell what the emperor liked to hear.
Yes, no one dared to tell Mao Zedong at the time that his policies were wrong. China's real GDP growth in 1961 is negative 16.2. Basically, China's economy shrunk a lot.
Wow, then China did go bankrupt?
Well, some honest Communist Party members did tell Mao Zedong his policies had backfired. Can you guess what did Mao Zedong do next?
What? Did he do a U-turn to save China from going bankrupt?
Worse, he launched one of the worst political campaigns in recent China history, the Cultural Revolution. Basically, the campaign is to hit back at his opponents, those Communist Party members who disagreed with his policies.
Wow, sounds like another long story to tell.
Yes, long story. I will reserve the Cultural Revolution for another video, but basically the campaign started in May 1966 and lasted until his death in 1976. Had he not died, the campaign would have lasted even longer.
Oh, luckily he died, or else Chinese people will suffer longer.
In 1976, China had negative 1.6 real GDP growth. It was really bad. The entire country did nothing productive for 10 years and was about to collapse.
Luckily, my grandfather came out of China before 1949. Otherwise, I might be those Chinese people suffering through the campaigns.
And the worst thing is, the Communist Party has never acknowledged their mistakes.
Made so many mistakes, so many Chinese people suffer, still can stay in power, meh?
Again, one party system and one man decides everything, so the Chinese people cannot do anything. Actually, the Communist Party did make some changes after 1976. Deng Xiaoping decided to create a committee of 7 to 8 people to make decisions together to rule the country after seeing what major damages a single ruler can make.
Then, goodly, China growing well after Deng Xiaoping.
You see, 30 years later, Xi Jinping basically reverts back to the one-man system after filling the committee with his own people.
Oh no, this is like roti prata, flipping back and forth.
The thing is, under such a non-democratic system, lots of things can happen. You can see what the one-man system has done to China. COVID lockdowns, stagnating the economy, rich Chinese people fleeing the country, and many more.
Quite sad, China's such a big country, so long history. But really, one party system and one person like a king is scary.